Good evening to one and all. I welcome on behalf of the CMIB to each one of you, all the leaders and all my speakers or the rather panelists for the day. And we all know the program structure. This program is being developed with the support a friend sitting there in Dubai, Prabdeep Singh Baveja ji, and well supported by the team there in Delhi by G. Ranganathan ji, me and my co-chairman Durgesh Kabra ji. Definitely this is third in the series, and today fortunate enough it is not the friends from the Dubai or the Middle East or from India. Today we can find the friends starting from Vikas Chaturvedi, who is a very close friend of mine, and he made me to enjoy Amsterdam once I visited there along with one of my other council colleague Manu Agarwal ji also, and other friends from San Francisco. Vis ji, I welcome you all for this great program, 7 days as an executive development program for the first level to start with. And my great friend, and I'm fan of him, Yatendra Gupta ji from Sydney, with whom we enjoyed starting from, you see, like our journey of our relationship started in
Long
Agra.
time.
It
Long
started
time.
in Agra
Long time.
long back in an international conference, and it will continue for the life. That is the kind of relationship so far we built in, and I really, the friends from the Singapore also, Algappan ji is with us. I welcome you, sir. Ajay Agarwal ji, to whom I am connected through one of my friends sitting there in USA. He got me connected to Ajay ji from UK. Naturally, I appreciate he is today as a panelist with us. And Anjani Ladda ji from the Luxembourg, I welcome you, Anjani, also, and hope the journey with each one of you will be given a second phase with whom I am already connected with, or with whom we are meeting first time. It will be starting from there. That will be the kind of strength we have to build in with each other. And I welcome each and every participants. Naturally, today's scenario, we find out कि it's not a subject related matters or the technical subjects. It's a guidance where one can find out the best of the opportunities, and more so over and above the building the soft skill also. This 7 days program is being drawn with the support of the different team members and with the support of the each one of you. This will be giving a benefit to each and every young chartered accountants, those who are very recently entered into the profession and will continue to be in the time to come. Maybe some of them may be enjoying the top level position as a CEO also in the time to come. That is basically it is well said, the first step matters in the life. If the first step is being taken in a strong manner, in very strengthfully, so naturally you go with the speed and accuracy. And mind matters, the intellectual matters, the physical strength matters, the connect also matters, the spiritual strength also matters. If combined together, and if we are being guided by some fellow professionals or the senior professionals, so then your journey also goes accordingly. And today, they are fortunate enough that they have the best of the known persons from the across to make them a better understanding of the subjects. Though they themselves have to pay their way, they have themselves have to find out their vision and built into the mission and bring out to a goal also, and ultimately by way of the strategy developed and the execution of that strategy, they will be finding their own place. But understanding the first stage matters, ki how you are being guided with, which way you are being guided with, which suits you the most, and how you can embark upon, how you can take care of it and the control upon. These things matters in the life, though it's a combination of the discipline behavior, it's a methodology you achieve with, and it's your vision also, it's your efforts also, it's your going forward, whatsoever the system requires as a strength to be built in. It is well said कि strength matters in the life, strength is a life. So those has to be built in by each and every participants in their own way, own manner, but with the guidance and with the support of so many. I welcome each and every participants. I welcome each and every panelist from the different jurisdiction, different strength of their own. Naturally, they have been there with us as a you see, like support to the institute, support to this committee, and hope all my friends will continue to support this committee in the time to come also, whenever we need you in the programs which will be executing in the time to come, and different programs also. I welcome each one of you. Now I'll request my co-chairman Durgesh Kabraji for his words of wisdom and for the taking it forward. Over to Durgesh bhai.
Thank you, Chairman, and all other dignitaries from world across who are the part of this institute, and we are proud of you for making ICAI named and famed in the other part of the world. The Prabhadeep, the master for arranging all these dignitaries and the speakers for this wonderfully drafted program for all the young members who are desirous to join, who are desirous to make their career a successful one. So with this, let me discuss today, when this is a program which is known as Executive Development Program. An executive development program, that too also for the chartered accountants who have passed very recently in last 3 or 4 years or 5 years time. So we started with the current attempt, the last attempt, where the student passed and became the CA, and thereafter we thought that we must have this program for at least all those chartered accountants who have passed in last 3-4 years, and we are having the batch year wise for all of them. And this is one program where we thought of, under the leadership of Hansraj Chugji, that this will impact their life to get success in their professional career. So when everybody is here to think of success in their life, I thought let me discuss 3 important habits which will turn you into a high performer. And when you become the high performer, I'm sure that the success comes automatically, because success comes on your performance. So 3 things, 3 habits which I am going to tell you, that will give you my young buddies who are going to be the torch bearer, who are going to be the brand ambassadors of the ICAI, that will make you a high performer. So cracking the code to truly unlock your potential in life or in the business has been researched by many over the years. Everyone is looking for the secret to success. That is the right thing, and that is known to everybody, that we are looking for secret to success, how we can achieve. The truth is, the outcome of our pursuit in life comes down to the choices we make on daily basis. Do we choose to play Xbox, watch reality TV, and binge hours of Netflix? Or do we choose the things that are going to move needles in our lives? See, we are a choice from the moment we wake up to the moment we hit the sack. Therefore, choosing our time wisely is the most crucial piece of the puzzle when it comes to success. Making the right choice will allow you to create the space to incorporate daily habits that will catapult you forward in life and business. So friends, these are the 3 habits which I am going to discuss, beginning with the one which will make you the high performer. First is creating space for inner work. That is very, very important. We are having a lot of space for outer world, but we don't create space for inner work. And what is inner work? Taking the time to self-reflect and meditate is one of the most profound experience one can bring into their life. Not only will you begin to discover aspect of your life that you are not aware of, but you will begin to gain the ability to manifest all your dreams and desire. Not to mention, meditating on daily basis encourage inner well-beings and joy, two things that are absolutely crucial to become successful. Is all of your time is spent emotional disarray, it will be difficult to progress. If at all your time is spent in emotional array, then it will be very, very difficult to progress. Meditation can help one remove the emotional drama from your life. Once you begin to approach your life with your emotions kept aside, when you need them kept aside, you will see your life changes in many profound ways. Not the goal is to remove emotions from your life and become a robot. Not the goal is not to remove the emotions from your life and become a robot, but to gain mastery over them and not let them rule your life. That is very, very important. Emotion has to be there, and you should work as a robot also. But the robot should not rule, or emotion should not rule your life. So there has to be a balance between two. That is very, very important. Then the second comes is exercise and healthy diet. Creating space in your life for rigorous physical activity can enhance your life in many ways. Not only will you begin to hit goals you may have sought in the appearance department, but you will begin to get more focused. More focused. When you are exercising on daily basis, your energy level rises, your energy level. It becomes easier and easier to get in motion every day. It simply comes down to law of inertia and object in motion and stay in motion. So that is important. An object in motion and stay in motion is going to make the difference in your life. If that is not amazing enough on its own, throw in a healthy diet and how you have a recipe for unlocking some serious potential. No pun intended. In order to truly focus on your more productive task, you need to maintain mental clarity. It becomes an uphill battle to maintain the mental clarity. If you are giving your brain and body right level of fuel, it's like putting the gasoline in a car that takes diesel. When you put food in your body with little to no nutrition, your body has to go into overdrive. Just process it. So not only are you not getting the nutrients you need, but now a huge portion of your energy is being directed to your digestive system just to pass the food through. If all your energy is spent on digestion alone, your brain will be left high and dry. So your energy should not be wasted for the digestion alone. Your energy has to be used for other things also. So the food and diet which you need is required to be the healthy one. So this is the another thing, healthy diet, health and food, that is most important. A high performer is someone, dear friends, who says, I want to be the best at what I am doing. This is what is said by Brandon Burchard. The third thing which is important here is to make a not to do list. Everybody makes, and from day one you starts understanding your life, understanding some things. Not only everyone and your mother tells you to list down what is to be done, and you start focusing on that. But it is very important when we make our list of tasks, we are only adding things to do into our daily routine. We are adding things that are going to move the needle in our lives. We need to make room and subtract things that don't. That is important. So your whole list is of things to do, but there are some things which are not required to be done. We need to make the list for things that don't to be done. This was picked up from Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. The not to do list is a list of things that you are not going to do anymore. The list of things that you are certifying by writing them down that you will no longer take part in. It could be a plethora of things like not going on social media during the daytime, not watching TV during the week, and not hanging out with friends so much when you have things to do, especially if they are toxic, they sadly take the boot. It is incredible and important to start holding yourself accountable by bringing some awareness to where your time is going. If you want to be successful, understand that time is the most valuable asset, because these kind of habits which are there, in which either of us is indulging, it takes a lot of time. So just one need to make not to do list. That is very, very important, and that will make you the high performer. The bottom line is, the truth is there is no real secret to success. Everyone has their own way of approaching their ambition in life, but in order for us to figure out how we are going to get there, which there really no destination, it's a lifelong journey. We need to begin to start from within. We need to peek inside ourselves, begin the work, and simultaneously start taking action towards creating the lives we truly desire. Devise the plan of attack, make the commitment, and take action. Emphasis on the action, because most people will do the first two and never through, and it leads them down the road of misery and unfulfillment. Whether you become successful or not doesn't depend on who you are so much as the choice you decide to make the day in, day and out. Every minute of yours, every day. I just know habits like these are like tinder, just waiting for you to set you ablaze. So if you embed these three kind of habits in yourself, you embed these three things, make yourself habitual to these three things. I'm sure, friends, this is a beginning of your journey for the professional life, and these three habits will make you the high performer. And when you become the high performer, success is yours, because every boss asks the performance, whether it is a practicing world or whether it is the employer versus employee. Employer will always ask you about the performance. So performance in the world is important, and the performance can come by imbibing these three habits into your day-to-day life. That will make a lot of difference. With these words, Thank you all guys who have joined today, and I wish all of you a successful tenure of your professional life as well as a wonderful learning through this executive development program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Durgesh ji, for such a wonderful guidance to the younger ones. Rather, I am also being guided by your words. Such a beautiful words. The thought is very clear, and clarity in the thought brings the things different. And I am for the younger ones also. Once you bring the clarity in your thought, naturally the sincerity in your efforts, that is a path to succeed with. And the age you all are into, the participants are into, this is the highest level of energy. And if you channelize that energy the way it requires to be, that which is being guided by Durgesh ji and the others will be also guiding with, and the ownership concept, like if even if you are an employee working for the corporates and you are behaving like you are the owner, so that is the professional approach that will be leading you towards the top positions or the highest levels. So with these words, I welcome again each and every participants, my panelist, my co-chairman here, and now I'll request Prabdeep Baveja ji to take this session forward with his words and bringing out everyone together on the platform as a moderator also. Panelists are there with you, Prabdeep ji. Now you can start.
Thank you so much, Chukta. Thank you so much, Kavra, sir, for bringing us together in this 7 days program. The third, my sincere gratitude to the ICAI leadership, President Neha Jambusaria, sir, Vice President CA Dr. Devashish Mitra, sir, and all very warm welcome to the participants today. Today is the first day we are having a panel discussion on opportunities, specifically covering Europe, United States of America, ASEAN region, which includes countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Thailand, where we have a significant presence, and Australia, where we will cover the entire Oceania region, including New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. So before we start, allow me to welcome our moderator, CA Vikas, and allow me to introduce him. Vikas is an expert on Indo-Europe business, and in particular India and the Netherlands. He is an advisor to top multinational corporates in India and Europe. He is closely working with various government bodies and plays a catalyst role in business expansion between India and Europe. His work has been recognized by various government bodies and institutions. Vikas currently is founder chairman of Indo-Dutch Financial Corridor, the Netherlands chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ASCOM Europe, and Europe-India Chamber of Commerce in Netherlands. Vikas is a third-generation Indian entrepreneur. He is a managing director and founder of Valuation Group, which has roots in real estate business dating back to 1926. Today, it is a diversified group having presence in two other ventures as well as corporate secretarial services and digital accounting and India inbound consultancy. In past, Vikas was a senior tax director of PwC in Netherlands, working in international tax services division. During his stay at PwC, Vikas was leading India desk of PwC in Netherlands. He had played a significant role in setting up PwC's Europe-India business group. He has over 19 years of experience in advising Indian and European multinationals on international tax matters. He holds experience in accounting Indian corporate tax issues, tax litigation, structuring cross-border corporate acquisitions, joint ventures in India, Dutch corporate tax issues, and international tax issues. He has been actively involved in the field of women empowerment and enhancing livelihood of farmers in India. He sits on the board of Women on Wings, which has co-created over 200,000 jobs for women in rural India. The objective of Women on Wings is to co-create employment for over 1 million women in rural India. He has closely worked with European Foundation Hedge Wood to generate employment for over 20,000 farmers in Kerala and Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is my home state, Dehradun. And thank you to Vikas for agreeing to be a moderator of this session. And please allow me to please have a big virtual round of applause for CA Vikas before he takes over for this session. CA Vikas, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being here, and best wishes to everyone for the session. Yes. Yeah, Vikas, can you hear me?
See, connectivity is very poor. I think what I can see.
Yeah,
He has seen the video, but I think we are not able to. Now the.
No, am I
audible? We are able to listen you, but still the voice is breaking.
No, I will try my best, sir.
Yeah, you have to be one disconnected. Then only the voice will be clear. You have a two link, two places you have entered into.
Okay. Now it should be better, I suppose.
Yeah, now it is better.
Now it is okay. One you can keep on mute.
Yeah. No, I have logged off. All right. Thank you very much, and welcome everyone who are watching this program live. I would like to welcome you all in the session 1 of this 7 days executive development program organized by CMI and B of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I would like to thank CA Hansraj Chugji, the chairman of CMI and B, and CA Durgesh Kabraji, vice chairman of CMI and B, for organizing this wonderful program for our young chartered accountants who have freshly passed out the chartered accountancy course. And a special thanks to Prabdeep ji, who is a director based out of Middle East, for organizing this program so wonderfully. So friends, the session first that we are looking at, the session 1 that we are looking at, basically deals with career opportunities for chartered accountants in basically 4 regions. The first one is United States of America, second one is Oceania, third ASEAN, and fourth Europe. As a moderator, friends, I'm extremely thankful to Prabdeep ji for giving a very elaborate introduction of myself. On the panel today, we have top 5 speakers, or I would rather say top 5 professionals across the globe from these key jurisdictions who are going to address the audience. Friends, the people on the panel I will quickly introduce you to is CA Vish Arunachalam. Vish is a CA chartered accountant and a Silicon Valley based entrepreneur. He is founder, chairman, and director of ICAI San Francisco chapter. Vish continues to play a key role in spearheading ICAI efforts in expanding the USA footprint. In a very short span of time, and especially year 2020, ICAI has established 10 regions across USA. Vish has over 25 years of experience in technology and management consulting for top-tier clientele in US, Europe, and Asia Pacific. Vish is engaged in building an alliance through an international network of finance professionals for deployment of next-gen products across various geographies. Recently, Vish startup has launched a SaaS product called ProScaler to help professional in tax assurance and advisory firms build a better and a smarter practice. Vish is also engaged in creating an emerging technology-based center of excellence in Silicon Valley. Vish has had professional stint at PwC, KPMG, and SAP. A very warm welcome to Vish on our panel. Shortly, once I have introduced all the panelists, I will take on the questions which people would want to hear in terms of opportunities and what kind of professional opportunities engage in North America. So briefly, I'll come back to you. But moving on to the introduction of our next panelist, we have CA Yatinder Gupta ji. Yatinder ji is the founding chairman of Australian chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and he's currently serving as its chief mentor. He has made a significant contribution in MRA with CP Australia and CA Australia and New Zealand. Amongst other, he maintains relationship with CP Australia and CA Australia and New Zealand on ongoing basis. He is a senior accountant with 27 years of experience in accounting and taxation and an ASIC registered SMSF, which is self-managed superannuation fund auditor. He has also served as chairman of CPA's Inner West Accountants Group in Sydney. In 2013, Yatinderji received the CPA NSW's President Award for Excellence in Service and Leadership to CP Australia and Accounting Profession. Since 2011, he has been a treasurer of Burwood Business Chamber. In 2009, Yatinderji started ASSOCHAM Australia with aim of increasing business collaboration between Australia and India. ASSOCHAM Australia is a branch of ASSOCHAM India, which is one of the largest chambers of India with over 400,000 members, businesses as its members. Welcome, Yatinderji, to the panel. Very delighted to have you.
Likewise.
Moving on to our next, thank you. Moving on to our next panelist, introduction of CA Algappan Periyanan from Singapore. Algappanji has more than 30 years of experience in accounting profession as well as industry. He is a director of ACME Corporate Services PT Limited Singapore. For last 12 plus years, ACME has been acting as one-stop provider of services that including incorporating companies, branch and representation offices in Singapore. ACME also provides accounting, income tax, tax advisory, GST and corporate secretarial services for various clients in Singapore and in the region. ACME specializes in basic to business, complex accounting, income tax, GST and accounting related requirements of business in Singapore. Algappanji is an expert in financial and corporate management matters with extensive experience in advising and implementation of accounting, corporate compliance, and audit process in due alignment with organization objective and strategy. Algappan is a member of FCA India. He's a FCA, Singapore, CA Chartered Accountant from Singapore. He's an FCA from ICAI, FCA and CPA from Australia. He's an MBA from Charles Sturt University, Australia, and is the co-founder and past chairman of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Singapore chapter. Very delighted to have you on the panel, T. Algappanji. Looking forward for your inputs and strategic guidance for our young fellow chartered accountants in Singapore.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to the introduction of the next panelist, we have amongst us CA Ajay Agarwal, who's from London, United Kingdom. Introduction of Ajay Bhai is with an integrated interest in academic. Ajay Bhai is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, fellow member of Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, which is ACCA of UK, and holds a degree in Masters of Business from University of Wales. Very dynamic and a person of high professional integrity, a selfless hard worker and down-to-earth person, imparted with exceptional organizational, administrative and leadership skills. Ajay Kumar Agarwal is a seasoned management consultant with more than 15 years of work experience gained in financial and professional services firm, including companies like BNP Paribas, RBS, Lloyds, RBC and Barclays Capital. Ajay Bhai is an immediate past chairman of the UK chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Ajay Bhai has a keen interest in child education. To that endeavor, He is a patron member of Bharat Jyoti School of Underprivileged Children situated in Lucknow, UP. The school is currently fulfilling an educational need of around 100 underprivileged children. Ajay holds an honorary position on the board of International Association of Human Values, a UK charity promoted by Sri Ravi Shankar and supporting charitable projects worldwide. Ajay bhai, a very warm welcome to the panel. Looking forward for your again guidance and strategic inputs for our friends who are recently qualified chartered accountants. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
Friends, moving on to our last and most key panelist, I would say from EU. He represents the EU region from Luxembourg is CA Anjani Ladia. Anjani Bhai is a finance and accounting professional having 20 plus years of experience, mostly in financial services and investment management industry with focus on providing finance, accounting and audit services. He has in-depth experience on working on multinational clients with presence in various jurisdictions for implementation and reviewing of governance, risk, internal controls, including business process reviews. He is currently involved in business development activities by creating a corridor between Europe and India, outbound and inbound business opportunities based from Luxembourg. His key achievement includes being a lead coordinator for Luxembourg state visit trade delegation to India with collaboration with High Commissioner of India in Luxembourg. Luxembourg for Finance, Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce, Luxembourg Space Agencies and various other Luxembourg professional bodies such as ALFI, LSE, LPEA, Luxembourg Innovation and has immediate exposure on onboarding and setting up business clients in Luxembourg. Anjani Bhai possesses in-depth technical expertise in investment management industry with focus on alternative investment fund managers, directives, and other related regulations impacting the private equity and real estate, plus UCITS industry. He is a lead engagement on US GAAP to Lux GAAP compliances for various legal reporting purposes. He has worked with Big Four accounting firms in various jurisdictions across the world, including Luxembourg, UK, New York, and India. He is the chairman of Luxembourg chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is the only Indian having qualification of chartered accountancy profession from Luxembourg. He's a CPA from USA and obviously a fellow chartered accountant from India. He is authorized to act as resident corporate director, position for the companies and structures for setting up in Luxembourg for Indian companies. So friends, this is where the introduction of the panel is. A warm welcome, Anjani Bhai, to this panel. I'm extremely delighted to have you also on the panel. So friends, as you have seen, we have the finest panel that one can anticipate in session one of such an amazing program that you are starting. And friends, before we now sort of get into the panel discussion, I will just quickly tell you about the format. So it's a 90 minutes program. It's a 90-minute session. And what I'm going to do in this session is I'm going to go through each panelist with my own questions on different opportunities, because this session deals with the career opportunities in various regions. The idea is to make this session very interactive as possible. And through this panel, I will try to get the practical tips, practical answers for all of you who are watching this program and who are looking to build a career into an international arena. So I welcome all the panelists once again, and without taking further time, I would simply get on the questions. I would say a rapid chat with all my panelists. So hope all panelists are ready for next 90 minutes of journey, where I look forward to getting the strategic inputs from all of you, which will immensely benefit our viewers today. So let me first begin with CA Vish Arunachal on opportunities in the United States of America. Vish bhai, my question to you is, since you have played such a key role in building the US chapters and, expanding the CA's network in United States of America, especially last year, was the action where we have seen you mobilizing number of representative offices and number of chapters. Now, my particular question to you is, what is that special thing, or what is that most important thing where ICAI USA chapters can offer to our newly qualified chartered accountants? So what is it, one or two elements that you would like to highlight where US chapters of ICAI can contribute and offer to newly chartered accountants? Vishbhai, over to you.
Great. Kasi, can you hear me well?
Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vikasi. You're doing great. Very nice introduction. My sincere thanks for our committee for members in industry and business for organizing this, putting together such a wonderful program. It gives me a lot of pressure to work with all of you and present this to the fresh chartered accountants. Hello, Hansraj ji and Durgesh ji, and my esteemed colleagues here on this panel. Let's get started. Great question, Vikas ji, for getting started. So, ICAI USA covers over 4,000 plus CAs in the region, and most of them have arrived in the USA on employment. There's run professional firms, some are entrepreneurs, and others serve the academia. So we have a wide range of CAs that have arrived here and done well, different parts of the country. This is a large country, as you may all know. So 50 states we are spread across. So what the USA chapters offer, I'm talking about the topmost in my view, in comparison to the rest of the globe, is I'm talking about for the newly qualified chartered accountants. Top of it, I would say, is the opportunity to network. That's huge. Our people are doing extremely well across the industries over here. There will be at least one event across all our chapters during the month that is held as an open event. We conduct events, professional events. We do other technology-related events. We do specific entrepreneurial events, job-related events. So various kinds of events are conducted by the various chapters that we have and the representative offices that work with our chapters. So we are in about 10 locations across the USA. So networking is huge, the opportunity for anybody and everybody, because most of these events are conducted for free. We do not charge, and then the registration is mandatory, of course. Wherever you are in the globe, whichever level you are in, absolutely, you're all welcome to participate in the events. We have panel sessions with subject matter experts, globally recognized speaker-led sessions, and other professional development events. So participating in these events, our newly qualified CAs can easily gain a lot of insights into how one of the world's most advanced systems function here in this part of the world. They can interact with our own CAs. If you want me to say one valuable thing, then what stands out is, in comparison to the other geographies, I would say is networking. You name the industry, you name the area of specialization, any bleeding edge technology, very likely you will find our own CS working in one of those companies, or maybe themselves they'll be serving that space. Be it private markets, SPAC or VCs or ESG or EV, you name it. Any emerging space, you can get the scoop on what's happening, what's coming your way, what's emerging. So all that is possible. So if you follow them, if you follow these leaders who are participating in these events, not just CS, even the others who come to these events, we do share at the event. So if the students or the freshly qualified folks follow them, they will gain a lot in short time. So that's the top thing that I would place before the group here. Thanks, Vikaji.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So most important is the networking and the events that you organize, which can be significantly beneficial to our members. I think that's very clear message and a very clear takeaway from this question. So thank you, Vishbhai. I will come back to you obviously in a minute. But now taking a perspective of Australia, because we see a lot of our brothers and sister chartered accountants, our friends, newly qualified chartered accountants, they aim at Australia. They look at Oceania region and look at Australia, New Zealand for chartered accountants opportunities, because it is English speaking, and there are lot of opportunities. So coming to you, Yatinder Bhai, in your view, where you see the opportunities, what kind of opportunities will you say exist for our recently qualified chartered accountants in your region, in Australia, in New Zealand? So what is your take on that?
Yeah, thank you, Vikasi. I'll go straight to the point. So Oceania is basically is not as populated as America is. The impression in India is Australia is very, why we should. Though you said a lot of people want to go to Australia, but I just want to highlight that the economy of Australia is $1.6 trillion, and average wage of as per capita, I would say 55,000 Australian dollars. So it's a serious country in that regard. But there are a few things we have to understand. In Australia, you cannot work unless you have a visa. And if you don't have a visa, it's better to work towards that so that you can come. Otherwise, there's no use of wasting your time. A lot of people go through New Zealand and then come to Australia. PNG is one of the countries nearby, but PNG is not like a big economy and so forth. People will not like to. I don't want to discourage. There are a number of accountants who are in PNG as well. Another country called Fiji as well. A lot of people go to Fiji. The most important part of this Oceania is Australia. In Australia, also East Coast, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, they are the major cities. Then you have Perth and Adelaide as well. But one thing is so important. This country got a lot of opportunity. You can be whoever you want to be. Tomorrow, if you want to be Prime Minister of Australia, by all means. You have service sector which contributes 60% of the economy GDP, which does include accounting and other investment services and so forth. Mining is one of the big sectors, agriculture. But if you love to really be in business as well, investment, you can do really whatever you want to do. But of course, you have to have licenses as well. Especially for tax, you got to have a license. Like in India, we have a chartered accountancy, and once you become chartered accountant, you can do whatever you want to do. You can't do that thing in Australia. If you want to become a tax accountant, you have to get license from ATO. Then you have, it's called actually taxation board. And if you want to get audit license, you have to go to ASIC. Financial planning is again separate. You have to get different licensing, different education. So you can become a chartered accountant or CPA here. But unless you have these further licenses, you can't do the practice. But if you want to start accounting firm as such, say for example, you want to do bookkeeping and cash flow services, you don't need any license. And everybody must have a PI insurance. Without that, you can't practice. Have I answered your question, Vikasi?
Yeah, no, so very well described. I mean, in terms of, what I understand is Australia offers immense opportunities.
Yes, it
You
is.
clearly
I
mentioned
agree.
it's the country where you come in, and if you dream to become a prime minister, you can even become a prime minister. So I think it is very motivating to see the opportunities that exist without any bias or without any restriction that Australia offers. Now, in terms of when you look at the newly qualified chartered accountants, and if you have to tell them that in comparison of looking for job opportunity or for looking for practice, what will be your practical advice for them that look, Australia is important, or
So,
come in as a unemployed in some company and over time build your experience. So what will be your take on that?
So again, profession, not for everybody. Likewise, job is not for everybody either. In job, you can make good money, but then you have a problem of, if changing the job, uncertainty of losing job one and here. It's a capitalist society. You can be sacked, if you do not perform. But everybody, the government will employ you as well. So it's open field. There's no as such. But one thing I want to say, no matter what you do whether profession or a job, I normally say one sentence. This is not India. Now, you will say, what the hell I'm talking about? It's so important for everybody, please, all the new guns, please do understand, everybody love India. You keep India in your heart, but please consider that is not India. Change your behavior. Yes mean yes, no mean no. Forget the almost part. Almost done. It does not work here. If you lose your reputation in this regard, you are finished. The reference for each and every job is so important. They do not really consider your 95% passing or 100% marks, this and that. They really don't care about it. Have you performed your job the way it should be? You are respected, you are hired. And a reference of the people. So suppose somebody, I give actually a lot of references to a new member. This is something that does help a lot of members I have seen. So get back to somebody. This is one mistake people do when they are coming to Australia. They do not reach out to us at the beginning. And by the time they reach out, the harm is done. So I request everybody and anybody, if they're planning to move to Australia, please reach out to us. We have a welcome pack on our website. It is called,
Excellent.
I intentionally
Thank
made
you.
this name welcome pack. I did not call any information pack because we really mean it. Reach out to us. We will help you. We have member proactively help in training, local experience. Local experience is very important for Australia. And now you will say, well, if I'm here, if nobody give me the job, how it will work? There's a way out. So reach out to Australia, get the local experience, get the reference on your resume,
Excellent.
and you are in. So ICAI.org.
Yatendra bhai, thank you.
Website. Hope it will help.
Very, very, very important insights, very important insight. And it is heartwarming to see the kind of support and openness that the chapter, along with the members, are willing to help our new guns from India. Extremely useful and extremely motivating. Thank you. Now, moving on to location of ASEAN, and then we say countries which are bordering Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. So Singapore is the hub, obviously, for Indian companies and Indian chartered accountants. I mean, whenever people look at opportunities nearby India, Singapore is one of the very obvious choice that comes into mind. So a lot of people aspire to go to Singapore because they see it's English speaking, it's very international, it's one of the best countries to live in the world as per the Living Index. Now, looking at our panelist, Algappan Perianji, on Singapore, you have been a veteran in Singapore. In experience, what kind of job opportunities exist for our freshly qualified chartered accountants in Singapore? What is it that you would want to tell them in terms of what opportunities exist, where does it exist, and how the chartered accountants can, get into that area where they can exercise or, link with these job opportunities? Algappanji, over to you.
Yeah, thanks Vikas ji for the introduction and for the question that you're asking, which is very, very important for fresh CAs who want to plan to move to Singapore. So first of all, I would like to thank ICAI, our parent body, and Committee for Members in Industry and Business, Chairman CA Hansraj Chukji and Vice Chairman Durgesh Bra for giving me this opportunity. Singapore is a regional hub for professional service firms due to its open and conducive business environment, well-developed digital infrastructure, and a highly skilled workforce. As Singapore develops into a leading accountancy hub for the Asia-Pacific region, accountancy is one of the growing sectors within the professional services industry that offer many good jobs. These could be in the areas of financial, forensic, audits and all that, restructuring and insolvency, mergers and acquisitions. These job roles are expected to grow with the regional growth and as Singapore develops into a global accountancy hub. Today's business environment is growing in complexity with new trends such as digitalization, which is disturbing businesses globally, and internalization. Due to growth opportunities in the region, the role of the accountant is evolving to meet the needs of these new challenges and opportunities. They are required to provide high-value accounting services and help organizations to create value and sustain growth. My suggestion would be for any newcomer to Singapore would be that they need to be. I'm sure our Indian CS all pay attention to detail. That's why accountants we are trained like that. So you need to have a keen eye and perform due diligence for accuracy. You need to be a team player. You should work well with the team and possess good interpersonal skills here. And I must tell you, it is not easy when you've been working with Indians, you understand them and all that. But when you move to an international environment, you must understand the way others think and do. They expect a lot of expectation is there, and they expect very high results from you. It is very important to be trustworthy, good reputation for keeping confidential information safe, will earn good feedback from clients. And you need to be flexible and adapt to changes as work and regulatory requirements change at an accelerated pace in this digital age. So they would also good to have it's also good for them to have some soft skills like finance, business partnering, ethical behavior and culture, conflict management, stakeholder management and all that. So all this will add value. And when you're talking about freshers in Singapore, I think is entry barrier might be there because the initial salary for foreigners to apply for an employment pass visa that we call it is about 5,000 Singapore dollars. And so generally companies here look for people with some experience. Very rarely I see freshers coming here. They either get transferred from the Indian company to the Singapore office or they come here, look for a job and then they go on. But they should have some experience to come into a place like Singapore. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So when you talk of experience, not touching upon experience, what would it mean? I mean, is it like 1 or 2 years of experience or 5 years of experience? So that is my first question, further to your question. Okay, what kind of experience one would look at? And two, when you're looking at Singapore, what is the most easy and low-hanging to get into the country? Is it Indian companies which have offices in Singapore? Can that be an option? Can international companies, multinational companies like Big Four, if you are working here, can moving into that zone could be an option? Or could it be like I know a lot of Indian chartered accountants have a very large practices in Singapore. Could that be an option? So again, these two questions: one, how many years of experience one would look at?
No, when you're talking about experience,
what is the most, I would say, low-hanging way of getting into Singapore?
So experience they should have at least 4 or 5 years of relevant industry experience that they want to come into Singapore. Suppose they want to come into banking, they want to come into a particular trading, oil and gas trading or something like that. Whichever industry they want, that kind of experience they have is an advantage for them to get a job here. Easier will be for them to transfer from an international company, multinational companies that already have offices in India, and then they can move them to Singapore and all that. That will be easier for them. Within the same organization, the culture will also be the same. It's easy for them to adapt to Singapore. If they are totally coming to, like when I came to Singapore, I came on my own to look for a job and all that. So that is totally 30 years back. That is different. And fitting in and all that took time. and I had to go through all the grind. So now I don't see people coming in like that. They already come in a good job, senior position and all that. That is because of the Indian experience or which other countries' experience that they bring it here. In terms of professional practice and all that, I'm very sorry to say Indian CA is not recognized in Singapore. But employers recognize that. So if you want to get any professional, if you want to do services, you can do that. But to do audit and all that, there's a strict licensing procedure here. If you want to become a local CA member, Singapore CA we call it, you need to take the exam here. And they only approve ICAI membership to become a CA member in Singapore. So previously they used to recognize CPA Australia. There were many things that was recognized in Singapore by CA Singapore, but now they only recognize ICAI. So otherwise you have to take all the exams.
Okay. Thank you. Very useful. Very useful. Very clear. People who are looking at Singapore, the most ideal way could be, if you're working in an MNC in India, through that MNC, look at the secondment route and at least have 4 to 5 years of key sector experience before you want to move to Singapore. Very relevant. Now, thank you. I will come back to you, Algapanji, again, with the questions. But moving on to our next very important geography, which by default people would want to go simply because of the ties it has with India, is United Kingdom. So I'm now moving towards UK and looking at Ajay, who's a very established professional in the United Kingdom for a very long time. He has been placed there and has seen both, I would say, the employment part as well as building a professional practice part. So in terms of young professionals, young chartered accountants who are looking at UK, Ajay, my key question to you is, because a lot of people believe that there is opportunity for building practice. Indian Chartered Accountant ICAI already has an MOU with ICAI. A lot of exemptions and everything exists. So there is a very easy route that one looks at UK. So my question to you is, how do you look at opportunities in so far as practice is concerned versus employment is concerned? And what is it that UK can offer to our young chartered accountants?
Yeah,
Ajay bhai?
Yeah. Thank you, Vikas bhai. Thank you very much.
Over to you. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the introduction earlier. And I would also like to thank to Hansraj ji and Durgesh Kabra ji for giving us opportunity to come together on the platform, and obviously our Prabhdeep ji, which have all connected dots all across the world, and all my co-panelists. So yeah, that's I think the practice versus employment, that's a very burning question. I think each of us thinks, as soon as we qualify as a chartered accountant. So what happened that one day result comes and next day we started thinking our time is very precious now and we should earn money each and every single minute of our life. But what happened that you should be very carefully thinking about what exactly you want to do, and then this question, practice versus employment, is very much requires a very thoughtful decision to be made. And either it's India or it's UK, doesn't matter. I think the process may be the same for both locations. But if we talk about if you really want to move out of the practice and push the employment and go to the employment side, then I would say that I can divide for example, the UK employment industry to the three main category, which is like the financial sector, and I would say that industry and the not-for-profit organizations. So we all know that financial sectors require very deep knowledge on the products, on the various assets classes and everything else. And not-for-profit also have the similar sort of requirements. But on the industry side, because it's so vast, there are different sort of industries. So it's very difficult to give a straightforward guidelines that this may be right or this may be wrong or this may be the best you can do. But if I further split the industry into the sectors, it may be possibly the accounting, reporting, maybe internal audit, and maybe more analytical sort of work within the industries. So if our newly qualified fellows are looking to be a CFO, for example, in an organization, then there is no easy path to go into the CFO level. You have to really focus what you're actually good at. So don't look at the earning potential. Don't think about the rest of the career. Just think that what exactly you want to do and what you are good at. And there are pros and cons everywhere. So there is no that you may come to an industries where after 1 year you think that, oh, I'm stuck, I don't want to do in this. Then there may be opportunity for you to switch to that different industry. But again, you have to be very carefully thinking about that. And then lots of qualified students ask me that, what the salary level I can get from there. So the starting salaries start somewhere from 25,000-30,000 pounds to, it may go up to 40,000-50,000 pounds depending on your experience or again the industries. But just again, it is important that you should be able to demonstrate that you should have those sort of skill to achieve the higher level of salary. So you may want to go to a retail sector, you may want to work for a fashion brand, you may want to work for a school, or you want to work for even a multinational organization. It may be consumer organization, it can be anything. Or you may want to work in the audits and assurance. So it just depends, what exactly you are looking throughout your career to achieve. Obviously, a commercial organization in terms of the remuneration can be a bit more remunerative in terms of the practice. But again, then you are only contributing to a single organization, not to a different organization. So again, you can be specialized in corporate finance, you can be a merger and acquisitions. There are so many lot of industries and areas where you can go as a chartered accountant. And if you're really looking to grow into practice yourself, so either you can you can be here in UK or you can be sitting in India. You can still help your clients to access the UK market. Whether you believe or not, there are more than 800 Indian companies currently in UK, and 800 companies are those which are having a 1 million or more turnover, contributing billions and billions of pounds of revenues and employing around 200,000 people in UK across various cities. So you see the vast opportunity when you have in practice. You can advise your client, how you can access the UK market, how can you access the UK consumer market, or even how from the UK you can access the European market. I know that the Brexit have changed that scenario a little bit. There are in some cases the opportunities have reduced, but in many other cases the opportunities have increased quite a lot. So there are lots of opportunities available. So if you are advising your client to come over to UK, for example, then obviously if you are looking to raise the funding for your client, for example, then obviously you can get all the financial capital in this part of the world, and you can bring your client here, you can access the funds, and you can try to increase your business and footprints here. And there are lots of tax breaks which are available on the research and development sides. There are nice patent rules here, and the overall regulation is very light. It's not the starting of the business is so easy. So London is very innovative and a collaborative sort of business environment. And then you are also establishing yourself in one of the best location in terms of the commutation, either to India to or other across part of the world. So time differences are very nice, and it comes somewhere in between. So you can obviously. But the one thing at last you need to make sure that either you go for the practice or you go for the employment. You have to obviously keep in mind all the regulations, visa, and all those requirements.
So Ajay bhai, I think very nicely you have described the opportunities, especially giving a perspective of number of Indian companies. You say over 800 Indian companies are contributing to the growth of the economy in UK.
Yes,
and obviously offering a lot of opportunities. So very nicely explained the difference between practice and employment. So as a step, for an Indian chartered accountant? Should they be looking as an employment, preferably as a first route, as a preferred route, and then looking to build a practice? Or do you think that coming as a first step is because of startup visas and stuff? It is. So from your experience, what is one tip you would want to give to our Indian fellow chartered accountants who have recently qualified? Okay, to get to UK, what is it that they must exercise?
Yeah, so again, as I said at last that, you have to keep in mind all the visa regimes and all the regulatory requirement. So obviously, if you're looking for a practice, for example, it may be a one step up, because then you have to have a local qualifications to start the practice. So maybe if you really want to access in the fast manner, then the employment may be the best option to go for it. And in that sense, and even in that sense, that starting with some of the Indian locations, and then obviously try to come over to UK.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
because they can get employment in the profession also. To get the employment with any practicing firm, that might be a better option. And then you move to your own.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
clearly employment is the preferred route to start getting an access into UK, and then over time you can, while you stay there, you can look at various opportunities. So thank you Ajay Bhai, and thank you Yatin Bhai for highlighting these issues. Now moving on to EU, which is a very, very important trading partner with India. EU is the largest trading partner for India. Lot of business happening between India and EU. We just concluded EU-India summit, which was supposed to be held in Portugal, but it finally held virtually, where Prime Minister Modi participated. Now looking at EU, where lot of companies from India are establishing their base in countries, large countries like Germany, France, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Spain, Italy. Now looking at Luxembourg, which is obviously one of the most sought after locations for various professionals in EU. Look at Luxembourg, which is a very small, tiny little economy sandwiched between larger economies, if you look at, be it France, be it Germany, be it Netherlands of Europe. But still it has its name in top index of parameters amongst all the EU countries. So Anjani, by looking at you, what you have done in Luxembourg as the only chartered accountant who's licensed to practice, from your perspective, how and what it is that you think Luxembourg, as a very small country, has to offer to our professionals who are sitting in India and looking at EU to get into their career opportunity and establishing themselves into you. So what is your insight, I would say, from your experience? You have a lot of hands-on experience being in this, now obviously practicing. From your experience, what is it that Luxembourg can offer to our professionals? Anjani Bhai, over to you.
Because thank you so much for giving me this opportunity again to talk to our young buddy chartered accountants, and also thank you for the elaborative introduction what you gave. This was only possible because of this platform that has been provided by our CA Institute and no one else except committee of members in industry and practice. Chairman Sir Hansraj Chugji, thank you for that. Durgesh Kabra ji, Vice Chairman Sir, looking forward for giving this opportunity for me to at least bring up Luxembourg into the roadmap of EU as such, if the people don't know about Luxembourg. So because I said that, I would like to give a little bit of background about Luxembourg before even we talk about the opportunity as such. As you said, sandwiched between economies, big economies. When I came to Luxembourg 9 years ago, after working in UK, it was part of EU, and now it is not in EU anymore. It's a separate country. In US, I thought, where is it in Luxembourg is? Is it in Germany? Is it in France? Where is Luxembourg? But until recently, when I was moving to Luxembourg, it was shown as it's an independent country altogether. And then I started researching a little bit about it. It is the founder member of EU. It has 12 European institutions established here, headquartered in Luxembourg. It is the Schengen area. People, when they come to Europe, they apply for Schengen visa. Schengen is a town in Luxembourg country where the Treaty of Schengen was written there. So then it comes to, okay, why people don't know about Luxembourg? Because it is habited only by 6 lakh people here. So, but out of 6 lakh people in Luxembourg, more than 49% are foreign nationals. So Luxembourg itself does not have its own population, you can say. If they are farmers. But the foreign population is the one who is leading this economy in here with 170 nationalities. And out of that workforce, what we say, the people who are contributing towards this economy are 80% foreign nationals who are living in here. So what you can say is the spouses and the people who join, the people who come to Luxembourg for their business opportunities, employment opportunities, professional opportunities, everything, they are also contributing towards the economy of Luxembourg and EU. The official languages are 3 local languages, which is French, German, Luxembourgish, but you cannot miss English because if it is the common language of an expat. So it is widely spoken in this country, and every single person will always speak more than 4 languages. No different than myself. I can speak our 2 Indian languages, Hindi, English, but I had to learn the local language of Luxembourgish to become a professional chartered accountant, but also follow the law language, which is the French language. It is a French law system that has been adopted. Said that how Luxembourg started coming into picture is because it is considered as an EU as a whole. When people talk about Europe, they always talked about UK, Germany, France. India had bilateral relationships with the 3 biggest economies of Europe. Netherlands, another one. Then they talk about Spain, they talk about Portugal, but everybody forgets about Luxembourg as such because it is the house, it is the heart of Europe. Having every company in the world will have at least one presence or is holding company in Luxembourg. Not about because of tax avoidance or tax rules. They are called as tax haven. Luxembourg is called tax haven, but every company in the world will have its at least one presence in Luxembourg for its operation, whether it could be from the financial side, from the holding side, from the commercial side, but anywhere because of the passporting rights. If you set up in Luxembourg, you can operate business in whole EU. If you set up in Netherlands, you could do the same thing. If you set up in France, you could do the same thing. But the regulatory aspects, the sectorial aspects, the difficulty of getting into the local laws of each country makes it very difficult for establishment of business. So they chose Luxembourg as their hub in here to set up. So with that, when I say foreign people, it is majorly service-oriented industry. Luxembourg does not produce anything by itself. It's procured. But what does it provide to the world is the finance, the financial services, the financial entities which are set up in here talk about the private equity industry, talk about the hedge funds, mutual funds. We all know JP Morgan funds, we all know Fidelity funds, insurance companies. Everyone has its presence in Luxembourg. So the financial part is being given out from Luxembourg to the world across in there. So the opportunities here are for the people who can serve the financial services industry. This is the house of more than 10,000 professional accountants in Big Fours. Wow. We are talking about 6 lakh people. 10,000 are professional accountants in Big Fours. Then there are 3,000 lawyers in Luxembourg. There are, the ancillary service providers, the trust and corporate, 5,000 people. So we are talking about more between 18 to 20,000 people serving in the professional services and all these things, because we professional chartered accountants, how our curriculum has been designed, can work in either of the sectors to provide the services to this financial services industry. Yes, you would need the local license. Anything which our co-panelists have told about in any of the regions, whether in Australia, Singapore, UK, the visa requirements are there to come in. But Luxembourg, being small, is little bit still little flexible as compared to the other bigger economies. The language will be the biggest barrier to entry to perform yourself, because the French, German, Luxembourgish are the 3 official languages, but English is the business language. So if you can learn either of the 2 main languages, either French or German, and then the option of working in Luxembourg becomes very widely open to the professionals. And as I said, if you have to be a lawyer practicing paralegal, yes, you have to register yourself in a bar association of Luxembourg. But since you have any qualification of France, Germany, Netherlands, UK, Nordic countries, Eastern European, you can get a corresponding reciprocal for Luxembourg also, and you can start practicing. Same goes with the accounting professional of Europe. Like you can start your working professional services in accounting sector in Luxembourg if you have anything about any qualification of EU. And for professional services, which are the ancillary industries, you don't really need any qualification. A baccalaureate degree in accounting, finance, in masters would, and our CA degree has now been recognized as a post-graduation, could meet the requirements of entering into the job market already to serve the financial services industry or to the corporates in Luxembourg. So the entry route is easy, but you have to still do some checks and balances, come to Luxembourg to make up your lifestyle here.
Excellent. Very elaborate, very detailed insight on Luxembourg. Indeed, a very important country where chartered accountants from India can look to set up and establish over next 5 to 10 years of their career and professional journey, I would say. Very people, a lot of people are not aware, Anjani Bhai, as you said, they are not even aware the location of Luxembourg. People would not even know that companies like ArcelorMittal, which is again Indian origin-owned company, is headquartered out of Luxembourg, employing tons of chartered accountants into Luxembourg. So certainly Luxembourg is a very important market. So opportunity that you clearly described is in financial sector. So all the chartered accountants who are watching this program, they should be very clear that if you build up your career into finances, corporate finance, private or any other financial assignment, look at Luxembourg. Now, an easy way to get about the language. So if you have learned, in addition to English, if you are knowing French or Germany, or I'm using the word or, could be a big booster for you in getting into Luxembourg. Now, friends, as most of you may know, ICAI has also started the language programs. So please do look at the website of ICAI because ICAI has recently started with getting the international language courses, which will further boost you to enhance your career opportunity into a country like Luxembourg. So, Anjani bhai, thank you very much for that. I will come back to you with more questions in a minute. But with the panelist, by now we already know what kind of opportunities does exist in each geographies. So very clearly, if you look at US, if you look at UK, if you look at EU, if you look at Singapore, if you look at Australia, opportunities are massive. Now, when we know the opportunities are massive, the next question is what kind of visas and what kind of other formalities? Because the major hurdle is, while chartered accountant is recognized globally, while the skill set is recognized globally, what is most important is getting there, getting into an international country. So visas, employment formalities, different type of schemes that different country has to offer. So I am looking at Singapore now and looking at Algappanji. In terms of for professionals, chartered accountants, looking at Singapore, what kind of visa and employment formalities one can expect while one is looking at opportunities in Singapore? Algappanji.
Thanks. It's a very good question, very important question. I think people need to know that. Singapore is open to expats. Singapore has a lot of expat population, but they go and choose the top cream in the population that I can say, because they want experienced, skilled people to train the locals, to grow the locals and all that. So now there is some shift in that thinking that expats, they made it more stricter for expats families to come. The salary minimum is Singapore dollar 5,000 plus. Then you can apply for an employment pass visa. If you want to bring your family and all that, your salary must be about 7,000. You want to bring your parents, your salary must be more than 12,000. So these are quite high for a normal person. It's quite a high salary, because the average salary in Singapore average is about $3,000. $2,500, $3,000 is a good salary in Singapore. I'm talking about Singaporeans and all that. They will have provident fund, other benefits. So for expat to come in, this is the first requirement. After that, Singapore for Indian CA is accepted by the immigration department in Singapore. They do approve visas based on Indian CA. That qualification is quite valid. Then the company must sponsor the visa. If it is an employment pass, they don't need any quota. If there is something lower, they are going below for other categories, then they must have some local harmony, then they can bring people in that category. But for employment pass, there is no requirement like that. So it depends on the company that is hiring. But generally, they look at first, now what they have is the Singapore government is now saying there is a job portal where the company must put an advertisement there. If they are not able to find the equivalent person within 28 days, then only the employment pass application can be submitted. So they are going through that one tightening step in between. So generally, employers are not very, unless the guy is really good, very helpful, or very good credentials, they are not looking at them now. The opportunities are getting very tighter now. So it's a bit difficult. And moving on to permanent resident and citizenship is very, very difficult now. In those days was slightly easier, but now it's very difficult. There are people who have been here for even 10 years, but are still on employment pass. They have not been able to convert to a permanent resident position here. So that is making it very difficult now.
Perfect. And if chartered accountants wants to know more about, what kind of visas and other employment formalities, what could be the portal that they could look at, in getting to know what kind of hurdles or what kind of...
No, there is a Ministry of Manpower, we call it MOM. Ministry of MOM, that portal has all the information about the employment pass. And then there is a ICAI, we call it Immigration. ICAI. The people in India, they have to go through, they must get the employment first, because they cannot sponsor their own visas. Only the employers can do it. So it's for them to look at the employment. I'm actually
Excellent.
now talking to our chapter people now to see whether we can put up, what are the important points here. We are just discussing that now. So I think we'll try to put up one web page for that in our chapter
Excellent.
website, where we will try to give information. Like I've seen Australia, they have it Sydney chapter. They've done it very, very well. I've used it before myself. So chapter we don't have that. We
Okay.
used to have a FAQ before, but now I'm trying to move it to this now. We are discussing. I just started the
Excellent.
discussion. We'll try to put it up soon.
Excellent. So, friends who are watching this program, just look at the portal that Algapanji has mentioned. Also, it is important to look at the employment pass and through the various channels and through the information portal that he just described. It could offer a lot of insight for you who are looking to have a career opportunity in Singapore. Now, moving on to the close neighboring jurisdiction, Jatin bhai, I'm again coming back to you. Again, on the same question. What kind of visas and what kind of experience and specialization, what kind of resumes one must have to get a job opportunity in Australia?
Okay, I'm going to give very practical, and it may create a lot of question, and I'm happy to answer as we go. I don't know how much time we have. First thing, I want to talk about resume. In resume, you should not have few things. Date of birth, no way. Never have date of birth on your resume in Australia. Never give this disclosure, you have at bottom, we have a declaration type of thing. I'm telling it's truth and it does not require. Never tell yourself I'm married or not married. We don't care about this type of thing. Make sure your resume is relevant as much, maybe 100%, with the job description. JD and resume should align. Otherwise, nobody will pick you up. If you find, well, how I can do this thing, I have a very simple sort of a story to tell you. And my reason is you should have more than one resume. There's nothing wrong about it. And if you have fear of, if at one place you are there and the guy got your two resume, nothing to fear about it. So listen, yes, they both are correct. I can do both. So the point is, I suppose, is when you have resume, the guy will look at the relevancy. If your resume is not relevant, you might be a rocket or whatever, but that guy does not need rocket. He need only a car. He will go for car. This is a simple story if you can remember. Now, coming back to visa, I suppose. Visa, that was one of your question, visa? Yeah. So visa is basically, you have to have a PR to get so PR means you got all the rights except voting. But if somebody sponsor you, and then, as in Singapore, I suppose the same thing, so employer got to prove that they can't get this person. At the moment in Australia, we have a shortage of auditors, big shortage. Even accounting, actually, we have shortage of all type of labor, by the way. One of the reason is they have to stop all the Friday anyway, so nobody can come. But at the moment, there is a shortage. And auditor, actually, I had a very good meeting with the second tier from auditor. And I advised him to hire people in India and so that he can do a lot of job through the technology. This could be one of the area where people can learn in India, in my opinion, till the time they don't have proper visa. And they start working for a firm in Australia. They develop their call it local experience, if I may help on that point. So if you are working for ABC accounting firm in Sydney, it means you have local experience. You have done all the taxes, BAS, GST return and all those things. That will help you. Then it comes to the qualification part. CPA Australia, as you know, that we have mutual recognition agreement with CPA Australia and CA Australia New Zealand. You can do their exams and you have to pass one paper. CA Australia New Zealand has changed a bit of thing now. You have to be in Australia to really do it. but CP Australia can be done by sitting in India. You can check on our website as well, in the CP Australia website. You can actually Google it and you should get all the information. But that will help you to tell your prospective employer that yes, you have a local qualification as well. The part of something, if I can highlight what sort of profession and software we use here, we are almost 100% on cloud accounting, 100%, almost 100%. There's nothing called anymore punching data. So cloud accounting means, because a lot of people get confused in India, they think if the software is on cloud, it is cloud accounting now. Actually, it is at 2 a.m. in the night, you get the data from the bank, the software receives the data, and automatically, if you have properly done the setup, it will code as well. So literally bookkeeping has finished, but still you have a few things here and there which you can do. You can justify your job. So please learn the local software, local tax. So you become like like Aussie. And I will also suggest, if you are planning seriously with that, take we have a point system. If you want, you can do yourself as well. But if you want, you can take help of any immigration lawyer who will help you to get the visa. But a lot of chartered accountants I have seen, they do themselves and they can bring it. So it's a point system. It depends on the age, English, another thing. So yeah, yes, Vikasi.
So Yatendra bhai, I think you have very rightly pointed out that the way to get into Australia is either you get to a PR system with points. Friends who are watching, friends, if you're looking at Australia, get your assessment done on points basis, point system, apply for PR, and that might be a way out. Or if you have an employer who is willing to finance you, that is another alternative that you can look to get into Australia. On the resume tips, Yatin bhai has clearly mentioned what are the do's and don'ts. Don't make it a rocket scientific resume. Make it very practical, very pragmatic, to the point, very crisp, very sharp, so that when you're applying to right employers, you are picked up very rightly. And in terms of experience and specialization, very clearly mentioned that the manual accounting, the data entry is a thing of the past, the manual way. It's all cloud accounting. My recommendation, my suggestion, what I also hear from Yatin bhai is practice. If you're looking at accounts and auditing jobs, look at IT way of accounting. Look at the way there are a lot of softwares like Exact is there, QuickBooks is there, Xero is there. There are many softwares where you should already start looking at how you can do the data entry. And that could be a route, that could be a specialization for you while you are looking at Australia or New Zealand. And especially if you pursue CP Australia, because ICAI and CP Australia already has an MOU. So if you look at, especially it is an MRA. So if you look at the MRA and see if you can qualify for CP Australia, your leverage will increase highly in the Australian market. And as Yatin bhai mentioned, Australia is lacking on accountants and lacking on auditors. That is one very important point, friends, for all of you to know. So Australia could be very relevant for people who are looking at English speaking, very high quality of life. Yes. So friends, look at it, look at the opportunities and start pursuing the way Yatin bhai has said, and this previously also mentioned that the chapter, Sydney chapter and other chapters in Australia are more than willing and happy to sort of contribute in this. Algappan, you were saying something? You wanted to add a point?
I just want to add on to what Yatin ji was saying. Australia Sydney chapter, they conduct CPA Australia program, and the success rate is really very good. I do Singapore CAs who are interested, I do connect with them, and the passing percentage is very high. They're doing it voluntary, they're doing it on Skype. There is a team doing it. I personally know them because I met them. Yeah. Great job.
So 100% passing rate almost.
Great tip. Great practical tip. Again, people who are watching this program, look at various ways, as has been explained by panelists, to get into Australia. Now getting over the Pacific. to United States of America, the opportunities in North America. Coming back to Vishbhai, can you please tell us about fresh accountants? What could fresh accountants from India could do today in enhancing their career opportunities in the US? What, according to you, that chartered accountants, the freshly qualified chartered accountants, could do today for enhancing their career opportunities? Vishbhai.
Great question, Vikasi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is, most people know this, but I'll say this. Research shows 70% of all jobs are not published publicly on job sites. Up to 80% of jobs are filled through personal and professional connections, wherever it is. So there's an old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Perhaps it's never been more true. So I would strongly encourage the fresh accountants to identify their areas of interest very quickly, early on. They can't go after so many, it's such a wide field. So early on, before they start looking for any kind of job, it's important that they understand what's out there and what interests them. Most importantly, their heart needs to be in what they're going to be doing in future. So it's very important that they choose a niche or nice area that they would be interested in exceedingly doing well going forward. So that's very important key. And then once you have that identified, then it's a matter of identifying those specialists who are already there in that space. Our CAs are doing very well in different parts of the world. So identify your area of interest and then start following them. So I'm coming to your question, but before that, these are basic things. So once you zero in, identify the leaders here in this part of the world, in the USA, follow them, participate in their events, network with them. LinkedIn is so easy to network with. Kind of use LinkedIn to reach out to them, send in your request, go with a specific ask. Don't make a generic, like connect with you. Say why with me? Why would you like to connect? What would you like to do? What is it that you want? Be specific. People give respect when your ask is very, very clear. It's not a generic one. If there's something that interests them, you could seek mentoring help. You could seek introductions to others in that space. So use LinkedIn. If you're not in LinkedIn, go create your LinkedIn. I'm not promoting LinkedIn in any way, but we've connected with about 2,600 plus CAs in the USA. Most of them through LinkedIn. So networking wise, I can't think of a better tool. So try that, and then once you get to know the people, work with them, volunteer, because we are all running chapters across the country. So we need people, participants from different parts of the world asking for help. We're happy to help, but come with specific asks, and then sky's the limit. Once you start knowing the people, following them, it's very easy. Very high chances of being hired by them once you start kind of showing your capabilities through those interactions. So I would strongly encourage you to reach out to people after you identify your area of interest. Be focused. I would really encourage the folks early on in their career. If they have this focus, that's going to really help them save time and excel. It's just a matter of time. So I hope we answered your question, Vikasji.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And I mean, the way you're ending, the way ICAI is expanding in US, just you mentioned about 2,600 chartered accountants in US. I think it's a huge number. It's a terrific number. And it clearly shows what kind of opportunities people in past have used. Yes.
Sorry, actually we are 4,000 plus in number, but we've reached 2,600. Wow. We are trying to reach the rest. So we're clearly 4,000 plus. We're getting there.
Excellent.
But at this Amazing. Time, 2,600, we're growing very quickly. So.
Amazing. And I know today one of the chapters is again being inaugurated, the last chapter. So congratulations on yet another feat in US on expanding the ICAI brand. So friends, whoever is listening, very clear message from Vishbhai is generate LinkedIn, be on LinkedIn, connect with the right people, stay very focused. And when you know what area of focus and what area of opportunity you're looking at, based on that, you connect with the professional in US. And then from there, you start building your case. So very clear insight and very clear message to our friends. Now, crossing over this Atlantic, coming back to UK again, where a lot of people have questions on whether CA is sufficient, whether I should do ACCA, whether I should be doing ICAI charter accountancy course, or any other qualification which can help me boost the career opportunities in UK. So Ajay bhai, my question to you is, obviously ICAI already has an MRA with the ICAI. It helps a lot of accountants I know who have pursued ACCA, some have pursued ICAW. What is your take in terms of what kind of qualification would help you in addition to ICAI Chartered Accountancy course? What could additionally benefit you? Does it really make sense to take an additional degree, or is it just too much of, I would say, a myth in the system? So what is your take on that, Ajay bhai?
Yeah, because what happens that, obviously when our chartered accountant, or say Indian newly qualified chartered accountant, wants to have a top-up qualification, for example. So I'm sure, means obviously you can be sitting in India and look for the growth within India, but most of them have the ambitions to go internationally. So that's where they look for the top-up qualification, especially from UK, for example. So again, having any top-up qualification, I would again say that the thought process is exactly the same, that what exactly you want to achieve in your career, what you want, where you want to see yourself in many years of time, or again, you want to be in practice or you want to be employment. So when you, there is another question to ask, when you go for another qualification, especially the international qualification, you should also think that whether it's a globally accepted qualification or not. Because sometimes it happens that you go for a particular qualification for a particular territory and you're stuck with that, only with that area in terms of your career prospects. Now there are so many type of additional qualifications because of the globalization of the world, coming up the new opportunities. So we have, for example, artificial intelligence, we have robotic process automation, risk management, treasury management. So all these various areas are coming up, which our qualified chartered accountants are looking at, and then to build their career upon. But if you specifically talk about the ACCA and ICAWA in terms of the UK, then I would definitely say that both are equally recognized in UK as far as the Companies Act is concerned. And then and the other thing is that both are the globally accepted qualification. So if you want to pursue either ACCA or ICAW, especially when I say globally recognized qualification, especially in the English-speaking countries or English-speaking territories, then you may have you may gain better benefit out of these two qualifications. ICAW may have a little bit edge on the ACCA, but again, I think the way the ACCA have developed themselves in last 7-8 years or 10 years, so they are doing very good. So there are various, when you go looking for the opportunity, for example, as Yatin Bhai pointed out earlier, that there are various firms now in UK which have India offices, and they are actually offering the opportunity to do the ACCA while you're sitting in India, and also that qualifies or that fulfill your 3 years training requirement from the UK perspective. Like for example, if I have talked about my own firm, so my own firm also gives the opportunity for our Indian chartered accountants to work with us and pursue another qualification, for example, ACCA, and then their employment with us can also be contributed towards their training for the UK perspective. So, and then recently, while speaking to various students or whoever passed these qualifications, they say that ACCA are a bit easier for them to go through the line rather than ICAWA. But obviously, both qualifications, if you are a qualified Indian chartered accountant, you get some exemptions and you can give the top-up paper only. But if you want to have a audit qualification, like for example, if you want to come over and do a audit practice in UK, then you have to have a 3 years training in UK only into the audit practice, who are actually the audit offering the audit services. Got it. So otherwise, it's very hard.
Very useful.
Yeah. So whatever. Even if you
Ajay, very useful.
Yeah.
Very, very useful. In paucity of time, what I would also request you to is, if you can share some information on outsourcing, because a lot of chartered accountant firms in India, a lot of young CAs who are looking at outsourcing possibilities. What is often used that we outsource opportunities in India for English companies or for companies based in UK. If you can bring us up on it, because 10 minutes left and I have a lot of more questions to ask in a rapid chat. And so just highlight outsourcing element.
Yeah, okay. I will just give a very quick answer. So what happened at, obviously, outsourcing is not new. Various practices and various other professional services are looking to outsource, and statistics are suggesting that the outsourcing is increasing. Especially there was a time when the bookkeeping and payroll were outsourced, but now the larger operations, larger tasks, for example, doing the audits in India, or even doing a tax tax returns in India. So all those happening, and then by the evolution of the new sort of opportunity, like as I said, artificial intelligence, RPAs. There is lots of other areas got opened into the outsourcing business. But I receive quite a lot of inquiries that people say, okay, sir, if you have anything, let us know. But I think one thing definitely need to understand in a nutshell, that the UK practices or UK businesses are ready to work in terms of the outsourcing with the Indian chartered accountants, Indian companies, but they should keep in mind that they will work only with the companies or with the service provider, who are ready to invest into the training and supervision of their staff, for example, who are ready to do quality control within their organization, who are ready to implement a proper software which is relevant for the UK, who can recruit a talent pool and employ English speaking staff and create a secure environment.
Excellent.
For example, to the client,
Got it.
if because there's changing needs all the time. So if you are not able to address the changing needs of your client, then it's very hard to do outsourcing from India.
Yeah. Clear. Thank you, Ajay bhai. Looking at Anjani bhai, what kind of Indians, CA, chartered accountants, skill set, looking at the skill set of Indian chartered accountants, what can Indian CA contributes towards the required skill set that is required in Luxembourg? So what take Anjani bhai on the specific element of the skill set of Indian chartered accountants?
Definitely, because it's a very relevant question what you have asked. As I say, we are in the globalization, right? There is no digital boundaries. There are physical boundaries for us, and we are in this new environment of working virtually, right? If you are sitting in Luxembourg physically here or any other country, you're working from home, right? Like now the technological advantages has diversified that this localization aspect is getting, this myth is going away. So our fellow chartered accountants who are there are qualified people. I think we have that right skill sets to offer anything what in the financial services industry or commercial industry or in the legal world or in the corporate secretarial work, what we need. We have our right approach mindset because we have passed our rigorous training and the curriculum of Indian chartered accountancy profession. In Luxembourg, you can become a local chartered accountant if you have to practice. But if you have to serve, you don't have to have a local chartered accountancy qualification here. You need just the right skill set of localization. Means if you know the GAAP, the accounting generally accepted principles, UK GAAP is Luxembourg GAAP, German GAAP, Netherlands GAAP, Dutch GAAP, French GAAP. There are various GAAP, they are called laws, but they have the same principle of International Financial Accounting Standards, IFRS. IND AS is IFRS for us. So we have the right skill set sitting there in India who can start serving even the people in our local jurisdiction in Luxembourg. As I said, there are 10,000 accountants here. Do you have to physically move out to Luxembourg? No. Ajay bhai just said that outsourcing aspect is there. There are so many practices establishing in India already which are serving the European clients. So, but I would encourage that if you would want to move into Europe, language and the little bit of local, aspect of academics needs to be known around it. And that is the easiest route is, if you would want to enter to Europe, is sign yourself for a 1-year master's program in accounting and finance. You get the localization. Now these things are being offering online. Get that aspect. You are part of the Luxembourg professional ecosystem already in service. So
yeah, excellent. Anjani bhai, adding on to this, how Luxembourg you think is different in comparison to opportunity in financial services ecosystem from other financial services center? Very briefly, if you can just elaborate what makes Luxembourg special and different.
So I will give you very short answer. We have our Alagapanjeep.
Yes.
Singapore, right? Singapore is high, right? It is one of the expat populations. It is a small country. Luxembourg is a small country. It is an expat country. Luxembourg is an expat country. But the skill sets, what we would need here to expand and comparison is totally different. You would have to have some kind of local language understanding how to serve the clients, which again comparison because of the various Luxembourg is called as a tax haven. But why is the tax haven? That's a myth, because Luxembourg has multiple double taxation treaties. It's not a tax haven because of evasion, but it is because the taxation treaties. They set up the shops here in Luxembourg to operate out from Luxembourg to outside. So the differentiation comes in the on the taxation aspect is where all the companies look forward to it. And Singapore might be from the. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So very solid legal and tax infrastructure makes Luxembourg a very special financial center, I would say, just to summarizing. Now, friends, all of you are leaders in your own right, and especially all of you have contributed in building up ICAI into your own territories. So in terms of founding chairmen during your tenure, you all are role models for chartered.
I think we have lost because
How different chapters or chairmen. No, I'm there. I'm there. No, I'm there. No, my question is very quickly, Vishbhai, how chapters in US can be different? Very quickly, one line if you can say that.
Could you please repeat? We lost you, Vikas. Could you please repeat your question?
No, I'm saying the chapters. I'm saying all of you are chairmen and role models in building ICAI's presence outside India. So in terms of chairman of different chapters, what is your one line that you want to say that as a chapter, how CA's different chapters in US are contributing to chartered accountants, and how can they help our fellow chartered accountants from India?
Great question. Thank you. So our teams have done some great work in the past year. We've activated about 10 offices in the USA in the last year alone. So the last 5 OC chapters were opened in the USA. So we have numerous initiatives across the country. We've enhanced the CA Connect with the rest of the world. It's not about serving our local members here, but it's about enhancing the CA Connect with the rest of the globe. We work with international affairs. We work with our Pradeep Ji, our sister chapters in Australia, APAC to the Middle East to Canada. We arrange for speakers for global events. So we believe in enabling cross-border collaborations. There's a potential which is really
Excellent.
huge. We've just scratched the surface. So I'd encourage all of you to collaborate more. Yep.
Excellent. Super. Yatin bhai, about Australian Sydney chapter, various chapters in Australia, what would be one key takeaway for our members who are listening to this program?
So one thing is the visa thing. Let's ignore the visa. Still, you can take advantage of Australia. It's a very prosperous country. You can bring all those employers. If suppose you're working with somebody in India, you can talk to us. We can collaborate in such a manner. You can contribute a lot by sitting wherever you are. This is my open offer to everybody. If anybody need any help on behalf of chapter, it will be my immense privilege
Thank you.
to help.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Singapore, Algappanji, what is your takeaway for so far as chapter is concerned to professionals who are watching this program? Unmute yourself. Anjani bhai, no, Algappanji, we can't hear you. Anjani bhai, what you have to say? One liner, what you have to say? Anjani bhai, Luxembourg.
Right. Have an Indian wife with an European life. So, so we as a chapter are here to help you for like anything what you would need to help, to get your professional European experience.
Excellent.
We are here to there, but get an Indian wife before you travel here for your honeymoon, because there is lot of places you can visit around it in here. We can help on the aspect
Excellent.
of visas as well.
Thank you. Superb.
What about the women?
Thank you.
Who are the women member?
Same thing.
Algappanji,
Indian
we
spouse,
missed you.
European life.
No, I'm just saying that, our Singapore chapter is about 12 years now.
Algappanji.
Yeah. No, I'm saying Singapore chapter has been there for 12 years now. So anybody want any information, they can reach out to us, and then we will definitely try to provide as much information as possible. We can. We also
Excellent.
have links with job agencies in Singapore. We can connect with them also. We will also come up with
Excellent. Thank
we
you.
already have a portal, but it is empty now. I'll fill it up. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ajay bhai, your last piece of advice so far as chapter is concerned, how members can benefit through the chapter in UK.
Sure, because I would just say that, everyone are welcome. So the London market itself is very open and welcoming all the businesses, especially from India, and recently with all the free trade agreements and all. So the market has opened quite a lot, and there's a great opportunities in coming years.
Excellent. So friends, I think with this, I would want to sum up this session, the first session. I'm very sure that all of you who have watched this program have got a glimpse of what are the opportunities in US, in UK, in Europe, in Singapore, in Australia. So one message, key takeaway I would say is opportunities are immense. Read carefully, be focused which country you are looking at. Try to build in the right people's network, get into the right type of people and connect with the right people. Be on LinkedIn. Before you look at these countries, look at the visa formalities, look at the employment passages and passes that exist. Look at the secondment options while you're working in India. While you're working in a company, you can get out of India and look at these opportunities. And lastly, last but not the least, the chapters and the rep offices that exist throughout the world are an excellent resource to connect yourself with. And ICAI today is becoming a most powerful institution globally, being the second large accounting body. It is becoming the most powerful institution in the world that is connecting and expanding and creating huge opportunities for chartered accountants. So don't miss out on connecting with chapters, chapter president, chapter chairman. And that was my, I would say, the last point, but most important point. So friends, this brings us to an end of this session, the 7 days EDP program that is launched by CMI and B. I'm extremely delighted and extremely thankful to all you, the leaders of ICAI. You are the role models of the institute. You are the role models for the chartered accountants. You all have made a mark internationally in your own geographies. So a great round of applause to all of you. And I, on behalf of CMINB, on behalf of Hansraj Chugji, who is the chairman of CMIB, and on behalf of Durgeshji and on behalf of Prabdeep Singhji, I extend a heartfelt thanks to all of you for making your time to give to our viewers. With this, we are at the close of session 1. I wish all of you a great session and the great next 6 days of learning. Wishing you all the success, all the best. Let's stay connected, stay safe, stay healthy, friends, and keep in touch. Wishing you all success with your new endeavors, with the future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas ji.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Very
you.
nicely
Thank you.
presented.
Just before we close, I will request our committee secretary Ranganathan ji to propose a quick vote of thanks, and after that I will share some insights on what we are doing tomorrow in just a minute. Yeah, Ranganathan ji, please go ahead. Quick.
Sir, it was a really delightful session, and more particularly, we are extremely grateful that irrespective of ignoring the time zones, people from US very early in the morning, then it's in Europe it is lunchtime, and supper and dinner time in Singapore and Australia. Mr. Gupta has been awake well past midnight. In fact, the speakers are from all the time zones possible, and putting yourself into so much of difficulty and during this pandemic, giving 2 hours of your precious time, and then not only talking about the opportunities but also how to tap those opportunities. I think, sir, this session was one of the best sessions, and particular thanks to Mr. Vikas, very wonderfully moderated by you, sir. Extremely grateful to you all. On behalf of the CMIB, I not only thank you but also wish you a very safe life, that we all come through this pandemic as soon as possible. Thank you so very much from the core of the heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ranganathan ji. Thank you to
Thank
all
you, sir.
our esteemed speakers. We could not take questions due to paucity of time, but most of the questions have been answered. Which have not been answered, we will work on it and see how those can be answered for you. Tomorrow is a very important day. We have in the first session CA Amit Arora, a famous journalist in India, who has been doing a wonderful sessions for the last 2 programs, and you have been looking to see him. So please be here. Second session, you may see that for women members in Africa opportunities, but it may not limited only to women. It may be helpful for men also, because if they are moving to Africa and they have a chartered accountant spouse, it will help them also. So please be here tomorrow. We wish to see you all. Get your friends here and have a safe day. Good evening, good night, bye-bye. And thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank you, everybody.
your time. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.